Hello and welcome to Halftime at the Footy. We're here tonight at the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre where a group of West Aussies are about to be inducted into WA football's most elite club, the WAFL's Hall of Fame. Also tonight, an existing member will be elevated to legendary status, so their name will go down alongside the likes of Farmer, Cable, Doig and Bunton. Welcome once again to the WAFL's 10th annual Hall of Fame induction night. For the stars of yesterday, the Hall of Fame night provides an opportunity to catch up, to reminisce and to reflect on times when the football was hard and men were men. Each year the induction showcases a living history of WA football.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hall of Fame.
The night's first inductee was in fact born in Victoria, but moved west in 1896. Tom Wilson's name is synonymous with the East Fremantle Football Club. That's because he co-founded it back in 1892. He was Old East's inaugural captain and centre-half back in 7 premierships.
You're very proud to know that he was one of the founders. He got together with Dolly Christie, who was a very good mate of his. They got together and they, with the backing from Sam Thompson, who was a businessman in the area, and they decided between them to form East Fremantle Football Club. As far as Tom himself, I believe he was very tough. I've looked at pictures of him. I don't know if he was a real big man. I think he must have been fairly solid, but apparently he had a heart like a lion. You know, if the ball was there, he wanted it and he'd go through anything to get it. But with the reports I've heard that he was a very, very fair player as well. He never did anything dirty, but it was the ball, and if you were in front of it, he'd go through you.
Joining Wilson in the Hall of Fame is 210-game veteran Frank Hopkins. Hopkins was largely a West Perth favourite before finishing his career at Claremont, where in the 1937 season he booted a remarkable 119 goals.
We had no idea when we were growing up that he was such a famous, well-known person. Not until we were in our late teens that Mum had a scrapbook that she showed us. And she cut out every single newspaper clipping and all the photographs, and we saw then just how good he was. We had no idea. And he never spoke about it because he was a very, very shy, retiring person, and you would never have known. And we used to see people in the street come up and say, "Oh, how are you, Frank?" and recognise him, and we wondered why. But we never knew until afterwards just how good he was.
Described in his day as brilliant, Hopkins finished his career with almost 600 goals, plus premierships at both West Perth and Claremont.
People used to call him a freak, and that's what it seemed like to us. He had this ability to he'd stand on the ground and just sort of lift himself up without running. He'd just lift off and way, way above everybody else and get the mark. And he had these very big, strong hands. I've got big hands too. I think that I'm a pianist now, but maybe that's where I got it from. But that he could really grip that ball and not let go.
As far as tough goes, Ray Lizard Richards had most covered. Known at South Fremantle for his courage in defence, Richards held down the fullback position in the state side for 7 years in a row in the 50s. He says he got the nickname Lizard because he would finish his beer quicker than most.
What were you like as a footballer? Everyone says you were tough and you're telling us all this and you'd learnt the tough way. What were you actually like? What do you reckon you were good at?
Me? I just like playing.
Yeah.
Marking the football.
You still go to the footy?
Yes, I'm still in South Fremantle, play every home games and on the past players.
You're on the gate?
On the gate and, anybody hasn't got any pass, they won't get in, unless I know them.
The name George Young is royalty at the Subiaco Football Club. Selected in the Lions Team of the Century, the silky half-forward managed only 77 WAFL games before being recruited to St Kilda, where he played 108. Commentators described his style as liquid grace and lethal nonchalance. Tonight, Young described himself as humbled.
It's very awe-inspiring, and I think just to be part of a group of people, like there's 300-400 people here, and most of them are just WAFL legends, and it's just magnificent to share the occasion with them and to be able to be part of their group.
Young represented WA on 10 occasions and says there was nothing better than a win over the Vicks.
There was always that burning desire we've got to use Ted Whitney's phrase, I guess, we've got to stick it up on them. And in 1977, when the State of Origin situation came about, there was an opportunity because we had a star-studded side and the team was just had some magnificent players and the fact that we beat the Victorians by 96 points on our home ground in front of our home adoring crowd that was magnificent, and it was something that always remained in our minds, and it was the start of State of Origin football.
Named in the Indigenous Team of the Century, Chris Lewis's induction surprises no one. His record speaks for itself. 274 games between Claremont and West Coast, All-Australian in 1990 and a dual premiership player with the Eagles.
I've been playing footy all my life, and young bloke, and there's probably 4 or 5 of my heroes in here, and to come and sit down and just, I don't know, be made welcome into the club and into that little group is a bit humbling actually.
Known to most as Louis, his proudest moment was helping deliver the Eagles their first flag in 1992.
Oh yeah, look, we were rock stars, mate. Yeah, we were. It was all a bit of a blur actually. Yeah, look, we sort of had everything put on for us, and I suppose that one of the good things that we noticed was the actual appreciation from the public about. It was like it was their premiership as well. Like the whole of the state enjoyed it, and look, I was lucky enough to. I know a few of the boys went away on a holiday overseas. I decided to go to Broome, and I'd been up there a couple of times and made some good friends, and look, to go to the country and just to share the good times with those people, and yeah, it was good. I think it was like a premiership with people.
There's some pretty big names in the Hall of Fame, some pretty big WA footballing names. You're in there now. What's that like for you?
Embarrassing, really.
Born in South Korea, Peter Beall's story is one of WA football's most unique. The South Fremantle youngster was told by the Dockers that he didn't belong in the AFL. He then went on to play 286 AFL games, was named All-Australian twice, won 2 flags at North Melbourne, and went on to captain Fremantle and claim 3 of their best and fairest awards.
You never quite look at yourself the same way that maybe other people look at your career and what you've achieved, but to be in the same room as guys like John Todd and George Young, who was just a fantastic athlete, and Steve Marsh and Jack Sheedy, these guys Stephen Michael, the first person that when I drove into the car park today, I saw Stephen Michael, and he was a guy, because of my South Fremantle background, that he's just an icon and someone that has a huge impact down at South Fremantle and in West Australian footy. So embarrassing and it's hugely humbling and a bit of a thrill, to be honest, mate, to be here tonight with those guys. Yeah.
As is tradition, the last induction is that of an existing member into the elite Hall of Legends.
On behalf of my fellow legends, it's my great pleasure to announce the elevation of Dennis Marshall to WA Football Hall of Fame legend category.
Put your hands together for Dennis Marshall, now a legend of the WA Football Hall of Fame.
I'm really chuffed, but words I find difficult to punch out at the moment. But all in all, I'm thrilled to join these seriously talented men, and let's hope I can live up to it.
Dennis Marshall debuted for Claremont as a 17-year-old and only 1 year later was playing state football. Marshall clocked up a massive 285 games between Claremont, Geelong, WA and Victoria. With equal skills on both sides of his body, it's no wonder he took home 5 club champion awards at Claremont and 1 at Geelong. He's already a member of the WA, Geelong and AFL Halls of Fame.
What do you want to be remembered as? What's Dennis Marshall want to walk away from the industry and say, this is what I was to people?
Fair, competitive, could play. Bob Davis used to say, could play. And yes, and it's nice to have terrific talents, and I was able to utilise them for Geelong and for Claremont, and all in all, I've come a long, long way.
Well, there you have it, the 10th annual West Australian Football Hall of Fame induction night, and Dennis Marshall officially elevated to legendary status.